Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today we are going to read Pet Volunteers Say Goodbye by Laurie Halse Anderson. We are starting at chapter 4. As soon as we get back to the clinic, Jane and Yum Yum wait for Gran while I take Sneakers outside, but he won't, do his business. Go ahead, Sneakers. Be a good boy. My voice drops to a whisper. Come on, just do it, please. I stand over him, my fist on my hips. What are you waiting for? I hate to rush the poor dog. Are you waiting for? I hate to rush the poor dog, but I'm in a hurry. I want to go find out about Yum Yum. I want to make sure he's all right. How long should it take to go to the bathroom? Come on, Sneakers. Go. I don't have all day. David comes out of the clinic and stops to watch me. Nothing like having an audience. Hey, how's it going? He asked. It's not, I say grumpily. David laughs and shakes his long bangs out of his eyes. What's wrong? I feel kind of embarrassed talking about this. To be squeamish about the bodily functions of animals. I'm having trouble training him. I finally said, to go outside. Do you have any ideas? Charles chuckled. Not me. All I know about is training horses. And housebreaking is training horses and housebreaking is one thing you don't have to worry about with them. David is totally crazy about horses. Whenever Gran has to make a visit to the stable to treat a sick horse, David is the first to volunteer. Sneakers barks happily. He runs a circle around me, then flops down on the ground. He sniffs something in the grass and starts to paw at it. This is so embarrassing. How are you supposed to make a dog go to the bathroom anyway? I'm total clueless. Maybe you should take him behind some bushes or something, David jokes. Maybe he's too embarrassed to go in front of you. That's a lot, David. No problem, he laughs. He heads across the street toward his house. How come you're leaving? I call after him. I know David loves this place. He says he's been pestering Gran for years to let him volunteer. I've got to babysit my little sister Ashley because my big brother Brian has more important things to do. He says with a scowl, Can you believe it? Instead of staying here and saving lives all afternoon, I'll be playing. Let's go to the mall. There ought to be a law against forcing boys to play Barbies with 5-year-old girls. I laugh, and for once I think that maybe it's better to be an only child than She the middle of 3. Hey, about Sneakers, he calls back over his shoulder. Maybe you should ask Maggie. She knows a lot about dogs. I frown at David's. She knows a lot about dogs. I frown at David back as he hurries across the street to his house. Go ask Maggie. Humph. Failure. I am at training Sneakers. Maybe I should check Grant's library for a book. I look toward the clinic. I love Sneakers and want to do a good job with him, but I'm dying to go inside to see what's up with Yum Yum. Okay, Sneakers, I say, trying to sound firm. A couple more minutes, tops. Then I'm taking you back in. I tap my foot on the ground and glare at him. Nothing. Come on, Sneakers, sneak. I have to check on Yum Yum. Maybe he is nervous with me watching. I turn around and pretend to ignore him for a minute. Then I turn back, still nothing. I give up. Maybe he just doesn't have to go. I take him back inside the house. I check to see that he has fresh water and give him a little doggy treat. Now be a good dog, I say. He looks my crabbiness melts away. I bend down and give him a hug. Don't worry, I say softly. We're both new at this. We'll get better soon, I promise. Then I hurry over to the clinic. I find Gran and Jane in the little room with Yum Yum. Both grand examining rooms are named after famous animal doctors from books. Dr. Dolittle from the book by Hung Lofting and Harriet from James Harriet, the pen name of her English veterinarian who wrote fiction based on his experience. I just read one of his most famous books, All Creatures, Great and Small. Can I come in? I asked. Jane smiled. Sure. Come on, Zoe. Yum Yum's always glad to have you around. Yum Yum wags his tail when he sees me, and I smile at him, but I stay back so I won't get him in Gran's way. Yum Yum looks so tiny on Gran's big examining table. First, she checks Yum Yum's heart and lungs with a stethoscope. Then she moves her strong, gentle hands over the little dog's body, feeling her here and there. Yum Yum pants happily and wags his tail. He thinks Dr. Mac is petting him, but I know Gran is giving him a thorough examination. Next, Gran shines a little light into Yum Yum's eyes. Then she gently opens her mouth and shines a light inside. Yum Yum's mouth is so tiny, I'm surprised she can see anything. Gran's brows knit as she feels Yum Yum's teeth, like she's checking for a loose tooth. Do dogs this age still lose teeth? Then she shines her light all around the inside in the inside of the roof of his mouth, like she's trying to see something more clearly. Have you noticed anything usual in his behavior lately? She asked Jane. Jane shakes her head. No, I don't think so. Not really. Gran keeps looking at the roof. At the at the Gran keeps looking at the roof of Yum Yum's mouth. You might not notice if you hadn't been around Gran much, but I see something change in her expression. Jane noticed too. She frowns and starts to fiddle with her hands. Well, I have noticed Yum Yum's not eating quite as much as he usually does, and he's quiet as much as he usually does, and he's started taking more naps. But I guess I just thought it was this summer heat and his age, kind of like me. She's trying to joke, but I can tell she's suddenly worried. She bites her lip. Nothing to be concerned about, is it, JJ? I look at Gran, expecting her to say no. Just a routine question, but she doesn't say that. She lets go of Yum Yum's mouth and removes onto his ears. She just keeps looking, checking, and I know something's up, even though her face is calm as she continues to feel Yum Yum with experienced hands. It's almost as if her fingers have sight, looking for things beneath the surface. How many of these therapy visits has he been doing? A lot, Jane admits. Maybe too many. It's just there's a lot of demand for therapy dogs. More than we can handle. The kids are so crazy about Yum Yum that I hate to say no. Gran nods. She is gently feeling along Yum Yum's neck, checking for lymph glands. Yum Yum's neck checking for lymph glands. Also, Jane looks nervous, but she tries to chuckle. I've noticed he's had a pretty bad breath lately, even though I brush his teeth and have them cleaned regularly. Is that old age too? Gran smirks. Maybe a little. Jane and I watch silently as Gran's hands go over Yum Yum's neck and ears again. I study her face closely. It stays calm and cool, yet friendly, but then there's a tiny change in her expressions again. Like she's noticed something. What? I bite my thumbnail and wait. JJ, Jane says, forcing a bright laugh. Say something. You're making me nervous. Gran seems to have finished her examination. She rubs her forehead a moment, sighs, and runs a hand through her short white hair. When she looks up, I see in her eyes something's wrong. Jane, I've found a few things, she says simply. Things What does that mean? What kind of things? Jane asks obnoxiously. Gran smiles kindly at her as she gives Yum Yum's head a good rub. Yum Yum's lymph glands are swollen, and I've found a black tumor on the roof of Yum Yum's mouth. A tumor? Jane exclaims. You mean Gran lays a calming hand on her friend's arm. I think we should keep Yum Yum here overnight and do a few tests. I like to take some chest x-rays and do a biopsy. A biopsy? I gasp. Mom's character on the soap had to get a biopsy once. That's how I know what it is. It's what they do to find out if a lump is cancerous. You mean like in cancer? I ask. Tears well up in Jane's eyes. Oh my gosh! He's going to be all right, though. Isn't he? JJ, isn't he? I can see Gran's cringe as a little as she hands Jane a tissue. It might be nothing, as says, nodding, but I need to do some tests to make a diagnosis. Sure, Jane's voice softens and she seems to go limp. It's so strange. Jane is always so bubbly and cheerful. Gran says she was probably born smiling, so it's even weirder to see her face now. I can tell she knows something's wrong, too. What exactly do you have to do to him? Jane asked her certainly. I'll put him to sleep for 15 minutes, Gran says, and I'll make a small incision in the tumor in his mouth so that I can remove a tiny amount of skin tissue. Then I'll look at it under a microscope. And Jane asked, any black pigment in the cells would indicate a malignancy cancer, Jane says. She picks up Yum Yum and buries her face into the small dog's fur. After a moment, she tells Yum Yum, you know, sweetie, I've got to get back to the shop, and I'm going to be busy. Dr. Mack says you can stay here tonight. Won't that be fun? What do you say? Want to have a sleepover with Dr. Mack and Zoe? Yum Yum barks and wags his tail, and I smile in spite of my worried feelings. You'll take care of him, she asks. Of course, Gran says. And I'm sure Zoe wouldn't mind looking after him. Would you? I'd be glad to. I flash Jane one of my brightest smiles, hoping I've inherited some of Mom's acting genes. Because right now I feel like bursting into tears. Cancer, Yum Yum? It can't be true. Jane writes down a lot of instructions for me. What to feed Yum Yum, when to feed him, what his favorite TV show is, a lot of little things. It seems to make her feel better. Then she gives Yum Yum a kiss on top of his head. You'll be a good boy, and I'll see you soon, she says. She wipes her eyes with the little tissue and hurries out. I wait for Jane to leave. Then I whirl around to face Gran and blurt out, does he really have cancer? I didn't know dogs could get that. Gran nods. A lot of dogs get cancer just like people do, especially as they get older. But come on, now Yum Yum's a tough little dog. So let's think positive. Maybe it's nothing, though, at all. Gran is trying to make me feel better. But she can't fool me. I can tell Gran is worried, and so am I. Chapter 5. I'm getting water, guys. Okay. Chapter 5. Hi, honey. Ew. Did you get my message? It's my mom on the phone, calling from California. I'm sitting at the receptionist's desk in the clinic, sorting through a pile of flies. No, I exclaim. When did you call? Are you coming to get me? Silence on the other end of the phone. Oh, well, Mom's FUCMs fades a little. Not exactly, sweetie. What I meant was I've been working on my ability to communicate with people mentally. ESP, telepathy, that kind of stuff. I thought it might help me get some work. She laughed at her joke. So I tried sending you a mental message. I guess my line was busy. Mom laughs. Zoe, that's very funny. I think I've got a part in a sitcom. She almost squeals. What? I thought you already had a part. Oh, didn't Gran tell you? She asked. What show is on hold? I don't know if it will ever go back into production. And it really wasn't a very good part anyway, but this one it's a real winner. That's great, I say. My hopes swell like a birthday balloon. Well, it's not for sure or anything. Mom goes on, but it looks really good. Oh, Mom, tell me all about it. Well, it's a callback for a pilot. She begins. A little air seeps out of my balloon. I call back. Yeah, I went to an audition, and now they're calling me back for a second read. That means they're seriously considering me for the role. Oh, I guess I sound disappointment because Mom insists. No, Zoe, That's really good. That means I've almost got the part. She takes a deep breath. Oh, Zoe, doll, this part was made for me. It is me. That's great, Mom. So now what happens? I'll read again tomorrow. And then I should hear something next week. Maybe, but I gotta tell you, sweetheart, it's looking like a sure thing. A sure thing. Great, I say. Then I try to send her a fizz chink message of my own. She doesn't get it, so I try to direct route. So when can I come? I start to say home, but home to me is New York. I've never been to California, so I just say out there again. Silence on the other end. Not good. Mom, soon, honey, I promise. Soon, one of the vaguest words in the English language. Soon. Can soon can mean anything. Seconds, minutes, day, years. How soon? How soon is soon? I ask in a small voice. Well, you see, like I said, the part is for a pilot. She explains, for a mid-season replacement. This sure thing is sounding more unsure every second. So, if I get the part, she laughs. I mean, when I get the part, we'll shoot a pilot episode. If one of the major networks picks it up, we'll go into a full production and be on the air by January. And goes on and on in the really excited voice about how her agent says it's her lucky break. That is how a lot of actresses break into a big time. She sounds more like a hyper little girl than a mom, so I persist. When do you think I can come out there? I mean, it's not all that long till school starts again. Mom, and I don't want to start here if I'm going to move to California soon. Zoe, honey, I stop and lump fills my throat, especially when Mom says, you might have to go ahead and start school there. Mom! I know, honey, she says. I know how this eater could have fooled me. Everything, so, up in the air. She goes, but if this all works out, well, Zoe, my sweetheart, this could really be my big break, the one I've been waiting for. I don't say anything for a moment. I don't trust to speak without crying. I stare down at the files on the desk. The name Yum Yum swims in front of my eyes. I trace Grant's bold, scrawling cursive with my fingertip as I blink back tears. This will be good for us, Zoe, Mom insists. You see, when I still don't say anything, she sighs. Zoe, honey, Her voice is soft, pleading. Aren't you happy for me? I try to swallow the lump. Sure, Mom, I manage to say, forcing a smile into my voice. And I'm happy for her. I'm just not happy for me. So I force myself to joke. Am I first in line for an autograph? Mom laughs, a laugh that belongs on TV. Warm, golden, full of music. You betcha, doll. And just wait, Zoe. This is going to be a great for us. I promise. Just you wait, she says. What choice do I have? So I start again. Are you at least going to get to come visit soon? Surely she was. She has time for that. Zoe, honey, I wish she'd stop saying that. Too busy. Huh? I say before she can. You know I want to, doll, and I will soon, I promise. It's just that, I mean, if this thing goes through, I'm going to be really busy till we get the pilot shot. I understand, Mom. Really, I say. Oh, Zoe, you're the best, Mom gushes. I'll send you some autographs of the other actors for your collection. How's that? How's that sound? Great, I say. So listen, I've gotta go. Is Gran there? I guess I ought to speak to her a sec. Sure, Mom, I'll get her. My sweetheart, love ya. Yeah, I choke out, love ya too. I lay down the phone and stare at the receiver. I want to pick it up again. Talk to her about Yum Yum. Tell her about how scared I am that he might have cancer. I want to tell her about the kids I saw at the hospital, the ones with no hair. How sad it makes me feel about Sneakers. Is determined to me drive to determined to drive me crazy. I want to tell her that I really, really miss her. But she's so happy about her audition. What good would it to do to make her feel bad? I don't want her to come get me because she feels guilty. I want her to come get me because she misses me. It's too much to go another day without me. Tell her, I think, tell her you miss her so badly. It hurts. Beg her to come get you. But it's easier not to ask, easier not to hear her say she can't. Instead, I buzz Gran on the intercom. As Gran picks up the phone, I hang around pretending to sort and stack files, but it's really so I can eavesdrop on their conversation. I can hear Gran's strong, clear voice through the open examining room door. Rose, I hear Gran say cheerfully. How are things going? Gran does a lot of nodding, but her smile is fading away. But Rose, you really need to. I try to get closer so I can hear what my mom needs to do. I carry a stack of folders over to the filing cabinet, but Sneakers chooses that moment to run into the clinic. When he strikes a familiar pose, I plop the files back on the desk and reach for him. Oh, no, you don't. I scoop up and dash outdoors in the nick of time for once. For once, he makes a puddle outside, not on the kitchen floor. I guess that counts as a success. I sit down on the steps leading to the deck and clap my hands for Sneakers to come. He runs over and licks my outstretched hand, then my arm, then my face. Oh, Sneakers, what would I do without you? As I say, as I scoop him into my lap. But that makes me think about Jane and how one day soon she may think about Jane and how one day soon she may have to do without Yum Yum. I hug Sneakers tightly and he squirms a little, but I don't want to let go. Do you think Yum Yum's going to be all right? I whisper into his ear. Sneaker yaps happily, and I decide to take that as a good sign. But I won't stop worrying until Gran tells me everything okay. Just then, Brenna comes out to Dr. Mac's place, walking a freshly groomed poodle. I have to laugh. What's so funny? Brenna asked. You, that's what, I replied, pointing a poodle. Not exactly your size, Brenna shrugs and grins. She's wearing boots and clothes that looks as if they were dug out of her brother's laundry hamper. Her long brown hair is pulled back into a quick braid. She'd be really pretty if she just let me dress her and do something with her hair. But Brenna's not a fancy kind of girl, and she's definitely not into fancy poodly pets. Her favorite animal are anything wild. Her parents are wildlife rehabilitators. They rescue injured or sick animals, then they take care of them until they are well enough to be released back into the wild. And her pet, Poe, a pet crow. I want to take some pictures of her, Brenna says. I'm thinking of starting a summer business. Pet portraits by Brenna. What do you think? Well, you're in the right place to get some business, I say. Well, we all went to Florida to help out with the manatees. Brenna took her camera everywhere. She's really getting good at photography. I watch as she moves around, taking pictures of the poodle from several different angles. Then she turns around and looks at me. Hey, want to take a few shots of you and Sneakers? Sure, I say. I finger comb my hair as I kneel down beside Sneakers. Then lick my lips and smile. Maybe I can send a copy to my mom with the caption, Zoe friendly housebroken needs a good home. Sit, I say to Sneakers through my posed grin. The poodle sits. Sneakers does not. Instead, he barks and runs around my leg. Think you're cute, I snort and scoop the rascal into my arms, intending to scold him. But then Sneaker licks my nose. I can't help but laugh. I hear Brandon's camera clicking away. He's cute, all right, I grudgingly admit. I hold him by 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 I hold him by beside my face, pressing my cheek against, but he's driving me crazy. What's wrong? Brenna asks as she snaps some more shots. He won't follow my commands, as he absolutely refuses to learn any tricks. And he goes to the bathroom wherever and whenever he wants. Sounds like he has a mind of his own. I hadn't like he was a mind of his own. I hadn't thought of it that way. I laugh. Unfortunately, Gran seems to think. Gran seems to think his bad manners are all my fault. Try turning the other way, Brianna suggests. Then hold Sneakers up and look over your shoulder at me. I try to pose and shriek when Sneakers pulls my hair with his teeth. Maybe you should try an alarm on or timer, Brianna suggests, still snapping pics. You can set it to remind you to take Sneakers out every 2 hours. That's what my family does when we're working with a wild animal that's sick or hurt. We set a timer to remind us to feed it and check on it. Once you've got him trained, you can gradually lengthen the time between trips. That might work. Speaking of time, I have to go. Good luck with Sneakers. Brenna takes the poodle back into the clinic, and I hurry upstairs to my room with Sneakers in a tow. He jumps onto the bed and makes himself comfy as I open my jewelry box and pull out the watch Mom gave me for my birthday last year. It has all kinds of gizmos on it. I strap it on, then fiddle with it till I figure out how to set the alarm. I set it a beep every 2 hours. Then I turn back to Sneakers. Oh no, I wail. Sneaker barks up at me from the middle of a wet spot on the center of my bed. Things have been pretty busy at the clinic this afternoon. The phone keeps ringing, and a steady parade of patients flows through the waiting room. Sunita, David, Brenna, and I have been helping Gran and Dr. Gabe. There's no time to check on Yum Yum or to ask Gran how he's doing. I'm actually glad when Maggie comes home from basketball camp. We can use her help. I'm surprised that 2 hours have passed. Each time the alarm on my watch beeps, But when it does, I excuse myself as I can and escort Sneakers, the amazing peeing puppy, outdoors. Each time he looks up at me unexpectedly, well, say I scowl at Sneakers, trying to act tough, but he only lies down on the ground and thumbs his tails. You're hopeless, I scold him. Then I feel sorry for scolding him and scoop him up for a big hug. At the end of the day, as as the sun begins to set, I take Yum Yum out to do his business, and guess who copies him? Sneakers! He follows Yum Yum around, goes where he goes. Then he lies down beside him on the deck. Laughing, I sit down on the top step and give both dogs a good petting nose to tail. I look out across the yard, listening to the birds and crickets, watching the sky explode into a dozen shades of pink and blue. A soft breeze lifts my hair and cools the perspiration on my neck. Not a skyscraper or a taxi in sight. I'm a long way from Manhattan, I whisper to the dogs. Then Gran comes out and sits down beside me. Whew! What a day, she says. I study her profile as she drinks in the peaceful view of the sunset. Sometimes I can hardly believe she and Mom are related, much less mother and daughter. I mean, I love them both, but they seem as different as night and day. Gran is a tall woman with strong hands and arms. She runs a lot and wears her hair cut super short because she says she has no time for blow dryers and styling gels. She's tough and serious, though kind, and would rather work in the clinic than do anything else in the world. Mom, on the other hand, spends half her life doing her hair and makeup and working out to stay slim so she'll look great in her clothes. It's my job to look good, she always says. I can't help but wonder about the two of them, so I ask hesitantly, what's the good news about Yum Yum? She asked, though of course she knows that's what I mean. Her shoulders seem to sag a little, and she sighs. I did the biopsy and few other tests, and everything's fine. I email her mentally, tell me everything's fine, and I need to discuss the results with Jane in the morning. She says simply, but what do you think? In the morning, she repeats firmly as she gets to her feet. Then she smiles. Come on, I need to get out of the office. What do you say we take a drive and get some takeout Chinese maybe? Sounds good, but Maggie will probably complain, I try to joke, picking up Sneakers to carry him inside. But I don't really feel like eating. not even Chinese. One of my favorite kinds of food. Wouldn't Gran tell me if Yum Yum was okay? Chapter 6. Chapter 6? Wait. Chapter 6, guys. So, guys, we're going to end this video right here. And bye!